Hi guys, it's me, and I am doing a video on my coming out story. Now, I know this is a beauty channel, and I mainly talk about beauty and beauty related things. However, I did get a requested video on to do this, so that is why I'm doing this video. So, I don't want this to be too long, but I feel like I really have to explain like my whole story to you guys. So, let's see. When did I find out that that I like girls? Let's just say that. I think I kind of always pretty much knew that I like girls. I had like experiences early on. Like I can't really remember if I really kissed girls when I was like in elementary school, but I think that I kind of always had like crushes on girls, which is normal. I think that like when you're younger, you always have like a girl crush. So I didn't really think anything of that. When I got to middle school, I had this one friend, like we're really close. She was a grade above me, and we hung out like every day. Talked on the phone like every day, even on the weekends. Like we were really, really close. It's not where you're going. It's not. This is not going where you think it's going. No, we did not have any relationships together. What happened was we signed up for this website, the N, which if you don't know, it was a network on that Degrassi was on. It was on demand at first. It wasn't wasn't on TV. And it had a website, and it was like other shows. It was Degrassi, The Best Years, some other shows, and you could like play games, and you had like an avatar, and you can like meet other people who were like fans of the other shows. On The Best Years, they had a lesbian couple, I believe, so it was a lot of like gay people on the website, and so I had a virtual boyfriend, and one day we were talking, and she told me that she had a virtual girlfriend, and I was like, that's kind of, I was a little, not surprised, I guess, just more interested. And she was like, well, it's harmless, like, if you want to get one, like, you should. So I did, and her name was Kiana. I wasn't sure if I want to say her name, and that's why. But her name was Kiana. She was from New York. And if you don't know, I'm from California. So it was like really weird. We were aiming like all the time. And I think that's like when I realized that I kind of like girls. After me and her stopped talking, I didn't talk to any girls after that. I didn't even tell anyone about her. So it wasn't like a big thing or anything. It wasn't like revolutionary and I like girls and I was about to tell the whole world. Like, it wasn't anything like that. Like, to me it was just like, oh, this is cool, this is nice. Actually, not a lot of people even know about her. So after that, I know I dated guys. I had this one relationship that was a little over a year, and by the end of our relationship I had met a friend, and we became like really kind of close, and I started to like this girl, and I talked to her about my relationship. Like, it wasn't a secret that I was in a relationship with this guy, and it wasn't a secret that it wasn't going so well. And she was just like, he's not really treating you well. Like, she never pushed, like, because I didn't really tell her I like girls, and I didn't even know she liked girls. So it was never like this type of thing where she was like, well, you might as well leave him and come to me. Like, it was never like that. She would just be like, if you're not happy, you shouldn't be with him. Like, yada yada yada, things like that. So when I did break up with him, like, I did tell her, like, I kind of do like you, and she was like, I like you too. And it was weird because we met online, but she actually lived like sort of down the street from me. Kind of crazy. So we met up. It was her and her friend, which I actually knew, which was weird, and it was me and my cousin, and we decided that we were going to be together. So we got together in January of 2010, and it was a short relationship, but it was the start of our friendship. Like, we were friends before, so we remained friends afterwards. It was kind of a bad breakup, but it was okay. Like, I think she still kind of is hurt over it, and I'm pretty much over it because I wasn't really in love with her or anything. I just really liked her, and I think, you know, we're still friends, so it's fine, you know. Um, After her, I did talk to this girl briefly. It was nothing serious. However, this is like when things kind of got kind of wild. While I was talking to her, actually no, actually when I broke up with her, we weren't dating anymore. Um, Someone had went on my MySpace. I saw the MySpace at this time. Um, Someone had went on my MySpace from my church and saw that I was talking to her, and they told my grandmother. And I was raised in church, like church every single Sunday, and you know, I knew that this wasn't acceptable. Um, at that time, like, I was scared, so I didn't tell anyone about her. They knew her because she was my friend. Like, she had came over my house. She spent the night, and she came to church with me. Like, everyone knew her at church as well. So it was like when they kind of found out, but we didn't admit to anything, so they couldn't really say my hair. They couldn't really say, like, you know, anything. And so we kind of denied it, and she kind of stopped coming to the church because everyone would, you know, some people would just look at her really strangely. I mean, I got the same looks, and it was really horrible. You know, people were really cruel. Like, my grandmother, at the time, she was a minister. She's a reverend now, and they would be like, she needs to be out the pulpit. Like, it was really crazy because of my actions, and I really didn't like that they were trying to do that to my grandmother. And so that was like the first sign that, you know, my family knew, but they didn't know because I didn't really admit to anything. So after that, it was really awkward. I think that my family pretty much, without me like telling them or like admitting to it, I think they just knew. They just didn't want to talk about it anymore. So it was really awkward. We didn't talk about it. However, I met this girl, and I fell so in love with her, and deeply, deeply, deeply in love with this girl. And I knew that I couldn't keep this person a secret. Not that I was keeping the other girl a secret, but I knew that I really, really, really couldn't keep this girl a secret. And I didn't, but I wasn't the one who told my family. The lighting changed. It's really weird. So, I look really bright. Let me turn this light off now. Okay. So, one of my sisters found out that I was talking to this girl. I really don't remember how it happened. It was probably something on my Facebook. I'm pretty sure it was. And she was messaging the girl, and it was really crazy. I remember I was at work. It was in the summertime, because me and the girl started dating basically when school had ended. So it was my end of my sophomore year, and she was a senior, and she had just graduated. So that was another thing. Like, she was older than me, and my sister was just like, "What are you doing?" Talking to my younger sister. It was just like crazy, and my family was like, you know, not accepting at all. My grandmother was just like, you know, she wanted to talk to me about it, but it was really awkward. And she was just like, "Well, how do you know? Like, this is a phase," you know, pretty much typical Christian household type things. My uncle really didn't really say that much. When I was dating the other girl, like, he was just like, "Are you and her dating?" And I didn't say anything to the point where he knew, and he was just like, "Be careful, you know, like, don't do anything in this house because, you know, this is disrespectful to your grandmother," basically like that. So I took that, you know, as a sign, like, he knew. My mother had a girlfriend that she was dating since I was like in elementary school, so I was in high school at this time. So she really didn't care, but I think that my grandmother tried to make her talk to me, so she would try to talk to me, but deep down I knew she didn't care. And my sisters pretty much kind of had a hard time with it. My older sister had a hard time with it. My middle sister, she was accepting. Like, she didn't accept the fact that I like girls, but she was accepting of me. She was like, if you this is who you are, I love you, you're my sister. My the youngest sister, who's right above me though, she had the hardest time. She cried and everything. It was really emotional for her, because when my mom had told us that she was gay or whatever, like, we did kind of take it hard. And it might sound really hypocritical of me, like, I really did take it hard, because at this time I was in middle school. I didn't really understand. I mean, I was in elementary school and I really didn't understand. And but now I do. And you know, my sister was just like crying, and I didn't really know what to do. Like, I couldn't. Like, I was on the phone. I remember it was one night I was on the phone with my girlfriend, and I was just talking to her, flirting with her, and my sister was just like, "Are you on the phone with a girl?" Like, and I didn't say anything, and she just started crying, and I was just like, "Oh my God!" Like, it was kind of, I had mixed emotions. I was just like, "Oh my God!" Like, shut up! Like, what are you doing? And then my other emotion was just like, "I'm so sorry." Like, I didn't think this was gonna hurt you. Like, you know, I really couldn't say much to her. Like, I didn't know what to say to make her feel any better. But after that, my grandmother, when she pretty much like knew that I was dating this girl, we got in this big argument. And I left the house. I went to my friend's house who lived down the street, and I was just with her, like, crying and whatnot. And then I went home, and I basically, she told me to leave, and I wanted to go live with my sister. I lived with my sister my whole junior year of high school, and it was really hard. But it made it easier because I was still dating my girlfriend at that time. To have her by my side was really, was nice. After that, in the summer of me going to my senior year, I did move back to my grandmother, and I respected her. Like, I didn't bring my girlfriend to the house. Like, sometimes I did, you know. But for the most part, I did respect her wishes. And I had some friends who she thought were my girlfriends. I told her, like, they are not. Like, they are just friends. And she would still kind of treat them like a little weird, you know, like, you know, just, and I don't know, like, I felt bad for them because they were just friends. So I'm like, all right, grandma, like, you're being kind of mean to them. You know, she would always say, like, I just don't, you know, it doesn't sit well with me. And she told me, she was like, you know, if you want to bring your girlfriends around, go ahead, but just don't be doing so much in my face. And I'm like, I'm not, like, they are my friend. Like, she is not my girlfriend. But, you know, it's cool. To this day, basically, my family is still pretty much the same. My uncle is more, like, he'll interact with my girlfriends and whatnot. Not that I have a lot or anything. Actually, I haven't had a girlfriend since my latest girlfriend. After the one that I was in love with when we broke up, it was really hard for me, but I did move on somewhat, because I do still really have strong feelings for that girl. But I did move on to another girl, and we were dating for a while, and my uncle interacted with her. Like, she had came around a lot. She came to my church. She supported me and everything, so she came around a lot. My grandmother knew her. My sisters knew her. Like, she would come to my sister's house. Like, she was pretty much a big part of my family, which is kind of weird, but we are still friends to this day as well. So, for the most part, my grandmother, we just don't talk about it. Like, that's just how it is. Like, we just ignore it, and that's just how it is. Like, if I tell her I'm going out, I'm going out. Like, I don't need to tell her I'm going out with my girlfriend. I just think that that's, you know. So that is, like, pretty much my coming out story. And it's a working process with my family. And if your family is supportive, like, kudos to you. Like, I wish my family was more supportive. You know, I do go to Pride and everything. I really do keep my gayness basically to myself. With my sisters, of course, because my sisters are more accepting at this point. Um, my sister, even the one who cried, she has came around a lot. She has came around. Um, my brother was pretty much the first one. My little brother was pretty much the first one in my family to know, and he kind of tricked me in a way because I thought he was accepting, but he's really not as much as I thought. Like sometimes he will say some mean things, you know. He'll say, "Oh, aren't you going with your girlfriend?" or like things like that, and I'd be like, "I thought you liked her," you know, like what's wrong, you know. I think he has a hard time with it as well. So, um, as for my orientation, because I never really got into that, um, one thing that I know, one thing that I was scared of when I was coming out is being labeled. I didn't want to be labeled as anything, and I knew as soon as you come out, you can't take that back. You can't be like, "Oh, I'm gay," and then you find out, "Oh, you're not really gay." So then you can't just like take that back. It's something you can't take back. So I was really cautious at what I came out as, and for the most part, I really didn't come out as anything. Like I told people it's my girlfriend. Like they're like, "Are you a lesbian?" I'm like, I don't like labels." Like basically, that's what I just told people. As of right now, and I think for the rest of my life, my orientation is pansexual. And if you don't know what that means, it means that you care about personalities, like regardless of gender. So after my girlfriend, I have dated guys, and do I have a preference? I really don't want to say I have a preference. I do find it easier to be with girls. Um, However, I don't really have a preference of boys or girls, pretty much. No, I don't. I do find it easier to be with girls, and I do like being with girls, I guess just a tad bit more. But if someone could rock my boat, I'm gonna give them the paddle, pretty much. So that is my coming out story and my experience with everything. If you want to know more about like how I was treated with like friends and school and outside places, you could just like let me know. I'll probably do like a follow-up story, but this is just my coming out story and how my family dealt with it, because I think that is the main part when you come out is your family. Like that's the people who you are scared of the most. So that's my coming out story. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.